Okay, it's another Memory Month interview. This time I'm chatting with Jacqui Olliver. Jacqui, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do, and then we'll talk about memory stuff?
Sure, Emily. I am a psychosexual alignment specialist, and I help people to align their focus and actions so they're integrating mentally, physically, emotionally, and sexually, so everything works as it feels like it should.
Awesome. So, memory. Obviously, in perimenopause, a lot of us struggle with our memory. What's going on?
Well, there's a very interesting perspective, which is our brain has a filter. It's known as the reticular activating system. So there's this network in our brain called the reticular formation, and it works very much like the law of attraction. It actually makes us notice more of what we are focusing our attention on. And this gets really interesting when you're in perimenopause and you're noticing how forgetful you are, that you're forgetting to do this, you're not remembering to do this, and it can really start playing on your mind. And so then the filter, which filters out all the billions of bytes of incoming data and information so that we're not overwhelmed, it filters it down to what we're noticing the most. So when we're noticing that we're very forgetful, we're not remembering, we think that our brain's not working properly and we can start beating up on ourselves because of that, then we're actually programming that brain filter to give us more of that. So that's more forgetfulness, more not remembering. And so we get on that treadmill a bit like a mouse, keep going nowhere, but around and round in circles. And this can have quite a devastating effect on our self-esteem, but also we can start questioning our cognitive function and are we getting Alzheimer's? Are we getting dementia? What does this mean for the future? So it becomes very important to get off that treadmill and start looking at things from a wider and broader perspective and understanding that our body is going through a massive change at this time, going from our ovaries producing estrogen to the production of sex hormones being taken over by our adrenal glands, which also produce the stress hormones, adrenaline and cortisol. So the production team that is responsible for our stress and monitoring our stress is now taking over the sex hormones. So that's a big change that's going on, and there are a lot of associated symptoms with that as our whole system does a complete reboot. So we're going to be forgetful from time to time. It's understanding that this is just a part of the process and we will get to the end, hopefully, with our sanity or our sense of humor still intact, and just understanding it's a part of the process, and we just need to do things that support that change so that we can come out the other side with our brain filter more positively focused, and that will actually help us come out the other side intact.
So are there any little sort of hints and tricks that we can do to just shift our focus, shift that filter so that we stop just focusing on the fact that we're forgetting things and we start going, oh, but I remembered this? Are there little tips and tricks that we can use?
Yes, and that's a really good one for a starting point, is to notice the things. Hey, I remember that, brilliant. And you can have a little joke with yourself about it as well, and any of your friends that are going through the same. But also it's really important to stop those negative stories that you're telling yourself and not allowing your thoughts to race ahead into the future, or analyzing, it means this, it means this, it means this, it means no. You're just having a forgetful moment. You might not be focused on what you're doing. Another thing that it's almost like forgetfulness is a natural progression for a woman because she's trying to do too many things at once. Right? So there's that component as well. It's being realistic with what's going on. Am I focusing on the task at hand? Do I just need to bring my awareness back to my core and then start again? Okay, what is it that I've come here to do? What is it that I was doing? And then you're able to get back Obviously, if you go down that pathway of self-flagellation where you're beating yourself up about it, you're going to trigger stress hormones. And for the entire time that the stress hormones are racing through your veins, through your body, then you're not actually going to be able to remember anything, what you're trying to do, what you want to do, because when you're stressed, when those stress hormones are pumping, you can't think clearly. You lose your ability to access logic, the logical part of your brain. So we just want to stop feeding the beast and keep bringing our attention back to the present moment. What do I want here? What do I want to do? How do I want to feel? And get yourself anchored into the present moment and think, okay, right. You can feel it when you come back on board. You can suddenly think, oh, okay, that's right, I was doing that. Okay, let's do that. But let's start with that, and then understand that as you start focusing on the task that you were doing before, that you're going to inspired with the next natural progression of what needs to be done. So stay away from the negative self-talk, the negative imagination. Our imagination is an amazingly powerful tool, and it can be used to go that way or that way. We're wanting to use that imagination to imagine the best outcomes. Imagine, or even just to remind ourselves, hey, this is temporary. Yeah. If I look after my health, I look after drinking plenty of water, up to 2 liters a day, because this change that's taking place in your body, that's using a lot of resources. So you need to be eating foods that are whole foods, wholesome foods, lots of fresh fruit and vegetables, get clean protein, good healthy fats, so that your body has the nutrients that it needs to help you through the transition with the least amount of horrible symptoms. So these are the sorts of things that we can do. Another thing that's really good is coconut oil, because it's instant brain food, and it can help to enhance cognitive function, so that you're not relying on food digesting to then get the energy. It's said that the ketones in coconut oil are instant energy. So that's going to help you to focus. So if you're something instantaneously that you can do is have a glass of water, that's going to help. Sometimes that brain fog is just because you're dehydrated. So it's just doing these little steps, little baby steps that really should be part of your overall well-being protocol, so that you can maybe have less of those moments, or if you don't have less of them, you're just going to be able to refocus your attention more quickly, so that you can feel in alignment. And when you feel in alignment, it feels like you're able to follow through. It feels like you're in the flow.
Yeah, we all know that feeling, don't we? The feeling of being off kilter, and then that feeling of when everything's just in the zone and you're like, oh, this is how it should be.
Yes. So that's another really good point, is that when you notice that you're not in the zone, that's usually an indication that your thoughts have taken you down a track that you really don't want to go. So just bring your attention back to the present moment, take a breath, have a glass of water, and refocus your attention. It can be very helpful just to ask yourself, right? Show me. It's even not asking yourself, just show me what I was about to do. That in itself can be really beneficial.
Thank you so much, Jacqui.
You're welcome.